بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا فسبح بحمد ربك واستغفرh innahoo kaana tawwaaba.
All right, let's talk about success. Not just getting there, but what you're supposed to do after you've won. We're going to unpack a really short but incredibly profound text that gives us a kind of blueprint for handling blessings. You ready? Let's dive in. Seriously, think about it for a minute. That huge win you've been chasing, maybe it's a promotion at work, acing a huge exam, or finally launching that project. When that moment of victory hits, what's your gut reaction? What's the very first thing that goes through your head? Got it? Okay, just hold that thought. So, to explore this, we're turning to a tiny 3-verse chapter from the Quran. It's called Surah An Nasr, which literally means the victory. And don't let its size fool you. Its message about how we should handle blessings is, well, it's absolutely timeless. Okay, so here's the whole thing, all 3 verses. You've got the original Arabic, a transliteration, so you can kind of see how it sounds, and of course the English translation. We're going to break this down verse by verse, but I think it's always good to see the complete picture right from the start. And here's the cool thing, the key to really unlocking this chapter. It tells a complete story with a beginning, a middle, and an end. You can almost think of it as the anatomy of a blessing. It flows perfectly. First, you have the event itself. Then, you see the consequence of that event. And finally, and this is the most important part, you get a very clear instruction on what to do next. All right, let's jump into part 1, the sign of victory. This is the start of the story, the moment the blessing actually arrives. So the first verse kicks things off, and right away, it sets a condition. It says, when comes the help of Allah and victory? So it's not a guarantee, it's a when this happens scenario. And notice, it's not just talking about any old success. It specifically mentions 2 things that are linked, help and victory. And this is a really important distinction. Help, that's the cause, right? It's the divine assistance, the invisible hand making it possible. And victory, that's the effect. It's the tangible result you can actually see and feel. The text is laying it out plain and simple. You don't get the victory without the help. It's not random, one directly leads to the other. Okay, so we've got the cause, divine help, and the effect, victory. Now the chapter moves on to part 2 and shows us the most obvious result of this whole thing. And here it is. And thou dost see the people enter Allah's religion in crowds. This is the big, undeniable outcome. And we're not just talking about a handful of people. That word, crowds, in Arabic, it's afwajaa. It paints a picture of massive groups, like waves of people, one after another. This is a huge society-level shift. And that's the real takeaway here. The ultimate proof of this victory, it wasn't about conquering territory or gaining political power. No, the real measure of success was seeing people's hearts and minds change on this massive scale. The impact was deeply spiritual, deeply social. Now, we get to part 3. And this is where the story takes a really interesting, you might even say unexpected turn. After painting this picture of incredible, sweeping success, what comes next? Well, the final verse gives the command. This is really the climax of the whole chapter. So I gotta ask, what would you expect the instruction to be? After a win this big, what's the logical move? Throw a massive party? Build a monument? Maybe write a book about how great you are? Yeah, you'd think so, right? But what we get is something completely different. Instead of any of that, look at this. The command is to celebrate the praises of thy Lord and pray for his forgiveness. Wow. So at the absolute peak of success, the instruction isn't to look at yourself, but to look back to the source of that success. It's a command for pure humility and deep reflection. So it's basically a 2-step plan for how to handle a blessing. Step 1, gratitude. Celebrate the praises of your Lord. You're acknowledging where that victory actually came from. And step 2, introspection. Ask for forgiveness. This is about recognizing that even in your biggest win, you're still human, you're still fallible. But why? Why this specific response? I mean, why praise and forgiveness right when you're on top of the world? It seems a little counterintuitive, doesn't it? Well, the final part of the chapter, our part 4, gives us the reason. And honestly, it's the key to the whole thing. The why behind this response is so profound. It all boils down to the nature of God himself. See, this instruction isn't meant to diminish your victory or make you feel bad. Not at all. It's about getting you to understand something fundamental about divine mercy. And here it is, the entire reason in just a few words. For he is oft-returning in grace and mercy. This one little phrase changes everything. It connects your action directly to one of God's core attributes. Let's dig into that for a sec. The original Arabic word is tawwaaba. Now, this doesn't just mean forgiving like a one-time thing. The way the word is formed in Arabic implies an action that happens constantly, repeatedly, over and over again. It means he is always turning back to us in mercy, always accepting our return to him. It's a continuous, open invitation. And that's the beautiful final lesson here. A great success isn't meant to puff up your ego. It's meant to be a trigger, a reminder. It reminds you of your dependence on that divine help we talked about. It's a golden opportunity to turn back to the source, who is, as we just learned, always ready to welcome you back. So in the end, success isn't supposed to be a pedestal to stand on. It's a doorway that leads you right back to humility. So let's circle all the way back to that first question I asked you. This whole chapter reframes success, doesn't it? It's not just a reward for your hard work. It's actually a test. It suggests that the real victory isn't just achieving the goal. The real victory is what you do next. So how will you respond? Will it be a moment for pride, or will it be a moment for praise and a humble return?